Okay, yeah. Hi, I'm Chips. I'm the German community manager. I'm just fresh out of the CM stream to join this event. Caden.
Yeah, I'm the English European community manager. I'm the one that loves to talk to you all with teasers and stuff like that. And yeah, we just come from a CM stream, so we'll shut up and let you guys get on.
No? Okay. All right. So again, guys, I'm going to be going through this fairly quickly. There are some portions that I'm just going to allow you to explore on your own time, and I'll talk about that as we go through. So I'm going to get right into it. And so with Season 7, the season is going to be 12 weeks long. It starts March 18th, so we're launching in just a few days, and it ends on June 13th. And so now I'm moving in, as soon as I can highlight my game. So I'm now moving into the seasonal interface, hitting F5. And so you'll see here that we've actually revamped the visual interface of the season, which I think is pretty nice. A lot of the functionality is the same, but there's a number of updates as well too that I'd like to walk you through. So you also notice that we have a new screen in the seasonal interface, which is called, it's right now in the build that you're in, it's called Seasonal. Well, there's two seasonals in there. Again, this is not the final load, but there's the seasonal runes, and I will talk about the whole rune system later on. And then there's the seasonal store. So that's what the loc is supposed to be, those last two icons on the lower row there. So I'm going to go into the battle pass. And from a functional point of view, there hasn't been a lot of changes to the battle pass. It's very typical of what you guys have experienced in previous seasons. So the top row are the rewards that you can get from the battle pass, and the bottom row are the rewards that you get from progressing through the season and increasing your seasonal level. You can purchase the battle pass, and once you have it, you can also purchase glory, which will increase your battle pass levels. This is the same that we've always had. One notable change that you guys will see is that we are now highlighting the next milestone reward, and so a milestone reward is a reward that is one of the bigger ones. So whether that be an attire, an emote, a flag, a particular box or something like that. So that's it's a handy feature to have. I think it's sort of nice. And then if you actually select that, if it's an attire or anything else, you can actually preview that. So we've added these new screens that allows you to preview the attires, and hopefully it will provide some motivation for you guys to work a little bit harder to reach those. So for example, I'm at Battle Pass 100. I'm got the Odin's attire. Oh, I just renamed it, and so you'll be able to hit the I button, and it'll preview that attire for you. So it's a kind of a cool, small but cool little feature. Some of the notable Battle Pass rewards, I'm not going to go through them all because this is stuff that I'm hoping that you'll explore with your audience in your free time on the server. But at Battle Pass level 1, you get the Thean's attire. At Battle Pass 15, you get the Thunderclap emote, which I'm so happy that we got that. Okay, and we got to do a stream, and like we did with the fireworks, and get everybody together and just do Thunderclaps all at the same time. That'd be awesome. At Battle Pass 50, you get the Tears Warband attire, which I believe is the unit attire, and so forth. So there's a lot of good stuff to get. There's also a lot of boxes and schematics. So artillery boxes, the weapon skin boxes, and other such stuff that you can earn from the Battle Pass. So take the time to walk your audience through what those rewards are going to be. Give them some motivation, and hopefully they will enjoy all the rewards that you can get from the season. All right, I'm jumping over to the seasonal store because this has got some pretty significant updates to it. So if you guys all want to switch over to the seasonal store tab. So like I said, the seasonal store has had some pretty significant changes, and the most important one is we've removed hero tokens. And so the only seasonal currency that you're going to get in Season 7 are blades. And this change was based on feedback that we received from the community, from the players, in that having multiple seasonal currencies was a bit too complicated, and just it made a system unnecessarily complex, and really what we've set out to achieve is just to simplify that with one currency. So blades is the seasonal currency, and it's no longer going to take up an inventory slot. It's considered like another currency that's just displayed in the seasonal store here. That's where you see how many blades that you've earned. In terms of the seasonal store, it's very much like what you've seen in previous seasons, where it's got consumables that you can purchase, and you've got the Season 7 weapon skins, and then a few other cool things that you can buy. A couple important notes for the skins, particularly the antique skins and whatnot, and I'm going to ask the community managers to pay extra attention to this, make sure that I'm giving the correct information here, is... So the Season 7 weapon skins will only be available during Season 7. The antique weapon skins that are available this season will only be available for this season. The previous season recolored attires are available for 3 seasons. So this attire that the recolored attires that we introduce in this season will be available from Season 7 to Season 10. And when an antique attire is introduced, it is introduced at a discounted rate. So, in the last season, the antique attires that we introduced were introduced at a 20% discount. So that discount no longer applies in this season. And the antique attires that we introduced this season are at a discount. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, Day? I've got people right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe I did not. I do believe. I mean, I think that just the best way to consider it is the new antique skins are available at a discount, and then once it progresses to the next season, that discount goes away, and then is applied to the new stuff in the next season. So, if you guys have any questions about that, just drop them in the chat, and I can answer and clarify that after. But I'm not getting anybody writing me, so I must have added that correctly, and one of our staff just added those notes to our chat in Discords, if you want to refer to those. Okay, any questions so far?
Hey, Drew, I got a quick question.
Yep.
I asked it, but for example, if I have the antique snow attire from last season, like I got it from the antique store from last season, would I be able to purchase it again, even though it just costs a little bit more, or you can only purchase it like once per season?
If it's a hero tire, that you wouldn't be able to repurchase it because you can only purchase
the
hero
unit
tire.
attires would we be able, like, if I wanted to stockpile on like snow on the antique snow attire for like 3 seasons, and then until it's gone, like, could I do that or not?
I do believe you should be able to do that. You should be able to repurchase unit attires, but we are going to confirm this with the developers just to be sure.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to move on to the challenges tab. So not the unit challenges, just the regular challenging. Hopefully, well, I thought my game just crashed. So in terms of the challenges, there's no changes for the functionality. It's very much the same as it was in previous seasons, in which case each week more challenges open up. You have the ability to refresh specific challenges. If you don't want to go over that, you have a certain amount of challenges that you can refresh per week, so you can't just refresh them until you find the easiest one. You cannot pay off these challenges. And the only one notable change for the challenges is that there's now 12 weeks of challenges. And that's pretty much challenges in a nutshell. There's not a lot changed there other than the addition of the new weeks. Okay, so I'm moving over to the unit challenges. And like I said at the beginning of the presentation, I don't want to go into super details on every specific thing. I want to allow that you guys time to explore and discover
That's a good one. Resupplier price.
Mute yourself, please. I want you guys to discover a lot of these changes. Take the time to explore the units on your own time. And so with the unit challenges, I'll talk about the functionality a little bit, talk about the new units in terms of their lore, and just sort of leave it at that. So the general functionality of the unit challenges hasn't changed. There's a few minor interface changes that we've done. So there's some music associated with the units, and there's a new sort of visual interface, which is sort of nice, quality of life change. But overall, the functionality hasn't changed. The units will open up as the season progresses. So I do believe that is it the Berserkers that are open right away, or the Sons of Finir?
Sons of Phineas.
Yeah, so they'll be open, first week, and as the season progresses, the rest will become available to progress to unlock. Each unit has a certain amount of stages, and each stage has a bunch of challenges associated with them. So these challenges, you can pay off the Sovereign, and if you want to, just unlock the unit right away. But essentially, no matter how many stages there are, there's going to be specific rewards that will come at certain points as you progress and complete those challenges. So you will get a temporary version of the unit. Then you will unlock the permanent version of the unit, and then you'll get a doctrine for that unit. And somewhere along the way, whether it's after the doctrine or before the doctrine, you'll also get an avatar styled out to the unit. And I'll talk about the avatar system in a little bit. And so in terms of the 3 units themselves, so we are introducing 3 new units this season. They are all melee units, which I think people are pretty pumped about. So I'm going to just talk through the lore of them a little bit, and then you guys can sort of discover their traits, their skills, their formations, try them out on your own time. So the Sons of Finir are fanatical followers of the Wolf God's cult, feared and despised in equal measure. The cult's members live in forest camps, carrying out forbidden rituals, and by degrees becoming insane half-men, half-beast fanatics. Each son has sacrificed his soul to Finir, the mythical wolf bound in chains, in exchange for physical power. I'm just going to jump in a quick little personal note. I'm pretty pumped for the units this season. I'm really anxious to get my hands on all of them. I haven't had a chance to try them out yet, and so I'm hoping that we can get some games going, and I'll talk about that at the end of the presentation here. The next one are the Berserkers. So Berserkers are fearsome warriors noteworthy for entering into trances before battle by consuming particular plants unique to their land. When the fighting begins, they are almost suicidally brave, each man striving to outdo his comrade in ever more desperate displays of courage. Berserkers carry 2 axes, considering shields of being unworthy of a warrior who seeks to live forever in Valhalla. And finally, which I think is probably the most exciting unit that we have this season, is the Shield Maidens. And so the Shield Maidens of Freya, which I think I'm pronouncing that right. Freya are the armed wings of the cult of Freya, goddess of love, fertility, sex, war, gold, and magic. In peacetime, these women serve as bodyguards in the households of highborn families, and sometimes as guardians of sacred places such as temples, groves, or stone circles. On the battlefield, they are like the incarnation of Valkyries, fighting with the sword and spear at the side of their leaders. Legend has it that when the Shield Maidens make their battle cry, their allies follow them into even more desperate melee. So, pretty exciting, I think. I'm anxious to see you guys' streams and YouTube videos that come out of this covering these units. I think that you guys' audience are going to be particularly interested in that. So in terms of the unit themselves, so one little bit of optimization that we've done in Season 7 is for these new units, we've actually have a couple different models for the units, and so it's not going to be a squad of all the same face. You're going to notice that there is a little bit of variety to the models that are going to be in the units, so it's a small thing, but still pretty cool, I think. And in terms of the unit challenges, going back to the functionality, so one more thing to note is for this season, we've reduced the requirements for the Season 3 units. So in the previous season, Season 6, we reduced the requirements for Season 2. In this season, we reduced the requirements for Season 3, and that way it allows players who are new to the game, and make no mistake, we've got lots of new guys coming into the game. It just makes it a little bit easier for them to access those, but still have to work for them a little bit.
Okay, so I've got the question here where the Season 2 stuff, is it still discounted, or is that discount no longer effective now?
The Season 2 ones are still going to have reduced requirements. I'm going to wait for confirmation. No, they will not. Okay?
Okay, so it's only one season units that will be discounted each season.
But why did we take the decision to not reduce every next season then too? So removing this feature again make it a bit bad, I think.
I can't speak to the decision made behind that. I can only tell you what it is. So in this case, so the season 2 is no longer discounted. I was not aware of that. So good question. Okay, so moving on. So I'm looking at the campaign tab. So typically in preview events, we give you a complete breakdown of the campaign, and generally, so I found giving you guys a full breakdown to be somewhat problematic, just because this is early into the season. We usually end up making changes, sometimes based on feedback, sometimes not. I can say that in this season that we've worked, us being the Minocom and Booming Tech had worked to simplify the season as much as we could based on feedback that we've received from the community. And I'm not going to go through the actual step-by-step stages of the campaign because it's all there in the client right now. So if you do want to show off what the campaign is going to look like in Season 7, you can just go into the campaign tab here and it'll show you what the dates are, what the stages are, and what's going to be available, what's not. I can confirm that there will be 2 starting regions at the beginning of the season, so that's going to be Osteria and Anadolu, which is sort of nice that we're bringing back Anadolu, and so that was based on a big piece of feedback that we got from the community, and that a lot of players did not like only having the 1 starting region, and so. As I said before, there's a lot of things we do hear, all the feedback we have, a lot of things that we can't react to, as quick as you would hope that we can, but it is heard and we do try to react to as much as we can. And, sometimes some of the feedback will take a few seasons to actually implement, and sometimes we'll be able to move on stuff quicker than other stuff. So in this one, 2 starting regions, and then the rest of the campaign, I'm just going to let you guys discover in the client. So,
yeah.
All right. So that is the seasonal interface. And so I'm going to move on to the new features and new content. There's from the agenda I sent, there's only 3 items, but a few of them are pretty, or at least one of them is a pretty in-depth new feature that I think that you guys should be pretty excited about, because it adds a whole new layer of customization to the game. And so I'm talking about the Rune System. And before I get into talking about all the runes, I need to give you guys a heads up that for runes specifically, our localization team is still working on the finalizing the descriptions for the runes. And so as you guys are going through and checking out this new feature, you will notice that some of the runes may not work as described. And specifically what this means is that either the runes do not have the effect as described, so like it may say like increases critical hit value, and then you take it in and it's not actually doing that. Or it could be that it says increases critical hit value by X, Y, or Z, and it's not actually doing that. And so the reason why that is happening is because we are still working on the localization, on the final localization for the rune system. And this is it goes back to what I said at the beginning of the presentation. This is not the final build. When we launch, it will be final, but at the in the interest of giving you guys the opportunity to preview this sort of stuff, these are the things that we need to live with. Okay, so this next part is going to require some action from you guys in terms of unlocking it. So I'll just quickly walk you guys through how to get access to this rune system so you can check it out while you're going. So you want to start off by going to the War Scholar in the town and speak with them. And you want to select this top option. And that will spawn a quest, which you should accept. Well, if you want to show off the rune system, you should accept it. And then from there, you got to make your way to the Artisan, wherever they may be. I saw Artisan. So go up to that NPC, and then talk to them, and then it'll complete the quest that the War Scholar sent you on. And then talk to them again, and it'll unlock a new quest, and that will unlock the rune system. And so, okay, if you guys aren't clear on that, we'll we'll put instructions in the Discord after the presentation, just so you can get in there. So once you have the rune system unlocked, there's two ways to access it. You can either through the character interface, so you hit P. I'm not in the game. Hit P, and then right underneath all your gear, you'll see a new button which is called Apply Rune. Hit that, and it'll open up the rune interface. You can also access it through the seasonal interface, which is hit F5, and then go to the season runes, and this is also, and then from here you hit the equip runes, and that'll bring you to the interface. And so the best way to think about the rune system is that runes are doctrines for your characters. And as you progress through the seasonal level, as you progress through the season and increase your seasonal level, it will unlock more runes. So there's no RNG to the runes. Everybody will have access to the same runes based on how far they progress through the season. And so to confirm, the rune system, it says that the runes are seasonal in that, yes, after the season ends, they will reset and there'll be a new set of runes in the next season. But this feature is here to stay. This isn't a temporary feature. We see this as a long-term feature as part of the game, basically part of the game going forward and for the foreseeable future. We will, however, be looking to the community for feedback on the rune system. What you guys think, what improvements that can be made, and other such stuff. And so as we progress through the season, these are things that we can, you can discuss with your community and pass that feedback on to either myself or the community management team. I really think it's a cool system, and I think that you guys are going to love the customization that it offers, because there's a ton of runes, and it really allows you to, really put more into the build that you're putting with your character that doing. And so I'm going to try to get through the rest of this quickly, just so you can get your hands on this, because I know that you want to look at the units, you want to look at the runes, you want to look at the doctrines. There's lots for you guys to look at. So a basic rundown of this rune system is there are four types of runes. There's common, which could be added to any type of equipment, weapon, helm, and armor. And the weapon, helm, and armor can only be added to that corresponding piece of equipment. And so, pretty self-explanatory. A weapon rune can only be applied to a weapon. It's pretty basic. There are 4 levels of quality to the runes. So there's uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary runes. And so the runes have a lot of different effects. And so I gave you one example before, in which case one increases critical hit value. So one type of rune will increase a stat. So, for example, critical hit damage. And then there's other types of runes that actually give you more new functionality on your characters. So, for example, there's one rune that will allow you to be able to move while you're healing, which is makes a pretty interesting impact on gameplay, I think. All the runes are in the game right now, but again, guys, the caveat is that the descriptions may not be final, so make sure that when you are showing them off, your audience understands that it's not final, and that the effect, if you're testing it and it's not doing the intended effect, that's probably a result of the localization. And so when you're looking at here, you'll notice that each rune has a number associated with it, and then each piece of equipment has a number associated. So this is what's called Rune Power. And so this is where the customization and where the strategy comes into the rune system, is that if you can only apply up to 6 rune power to a piece of equipment, and because the different runes have different values associated with them, it's not just you can add anything you want. You have to pick and choose and calculate your rune power. And so all equipment will have 6 power slots available for you to add runes to. And so each rune takes a certain amount, or uses up a certain amount of power slots. So the way it breaks down with the power is that uncommon runes cost 1 rune power, rare costs 2 rune power, epic costs 3, and legendary costs 4. And so it really allows you to customize your character in terms of, you may want to apply 6 uncommon runes, or 1 legendary and 1 rare. There's a ton of different combinations that you have to do, and I think it's really going to be a matter of exploring all the different runes and trying them out and seeing what works best for you and your character and your playstyle, really. That's what I really think it comes down to. And so I'm just looking through my notes, but I think that's pretty much the rune system.
We can test
Thank you.
that. My question is, so how are runes affected by when we reroll gear? So are the runes specifically on that piece of gear, or are they on the character for whatever gear we're wearing?
So it's on whatever gear you're wearing. So there's no penalty for applying and taking away runes. So you can
Yeah, I'm
add
going to
them.
ask about glaive runes.
Yeah, so you can add them, take them back, and really play around with it until you find a good combination that you enjoy playing with or is the most beneficial for you. If you re-roll another piece of gear, just take the runes off the old gear and put them on the new gear.
What happens if we re-roll a piece of gear that has runes on it? Do we lose those runes?
That is a good question that I do not have an answer for.
I didn't lost it.
From what
They're universal.
They're not consumables.
Yeah, they're universal.
Once you unlock one rune, it looks like you can apply that single rune to all of your equipment with just the one rune. If it's like crosses over, right?
Yeah, that's
so
how it looks
just
here as
looking
well.
only unlocking one green, I can apply that single green rune to 3 pieces of equipment. So removing it or re-rolling it shouldn't affect that at all. It should be universal to everything.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Because people like me would accidentally not remove them before re-rolling.
Well, the
Now
thing
I'm kinda
I think with that, the thing I think with that is that you can specialize with those runes really well if you can have it universal.
Now I'm curious, is this system going to be implemented onto your units as well, so you only can have a certain amount of rune or power for them as well?
So this is for your character, not your units. So the units have the doctrines, character has the runes. No worries. Okay, so the next feature that we've added is the new avatar system, and so the new avatar system is accessed through your character tab. So hit P in the character, and you'll notice beside your name you've got this new image. So this is the avatar system. What it really does is give you a little bit more personal customization options in the game, and so this avatar will basically be displayed anywhere your character name is displayed. So in the character screen, the loading screen, when you kill someone in a match, they'll see your avatar, and if someone kills you, you'll see theirs. In the house menu, in the group menu, those sort of places. And so when Season 7 first launches, there'll be a default set of avatars that will be unlocked by default, and then you can earn avatars through doing stuff in the game. I'm not going to go through every little thing that you do, but there's a lot of different images that you can unlock, and the things that you do in the game are actions like reaching a certain seasonal level, winning the seasonal campaign, the territory wars, completing special challenges, unlocking units, and a whole lot more. And then you'll notice, beside the avatar, there's also the frames. So the frames are going to be a whole lot more exclusive than the avatars. They're going to be a lot harder to unlock. So, for example, one of the ways to unlock a frame is to become the grand champion in ranked matchmaking. So the frames are a lot more exclusive. And in terms of these actions that you do, so we will be unlocking certain avatars retroactively. So as you can see here, there's avatars that are associated with certain past either content or events or something like that. So if you had purchased the Plague Doctor attire when it was first introduced during Halloween, then you will retroactively get the frame associated with that. And so you may find when you log in Season 7 that you will have a whole bunch more above and beyond the default frames unlocked and available for you to use. And then I also will use this opportunity to promote a very cool contest that the community management team is doing. So we have our avatar contest going on right now, and so this can You can design an avatar, submit it, and if your winning entry is picked, then that avatar could potentially end up in the game.
Quick question, Drew.
Yep.
These avatars, like for example, if you win the contest, I know it did say, so the avatar will be in the game, and will it stay in permanently, or will it like eventually? Like,
if you win the contest and your avatar ends up in the game, then I believe that it will stay there forever. And if you're the winner, then you will get exclusive access to that avatar for a certain amount of time, which I believe is a month. Yeah. So you'll have an exclusive avatar for a month before it becomes available for the rest of the player base.